All right, guys, we're gonna start by taking a nice slow 16 count head roll all the way to the right. Now reversing to the left, thinking about letting the weight of the head stretch all parts of the neck. Now an 8 count head roll right and left. Now quicker, taking 4 counts. Now returning the head to a neutral position, we're going to take 4 big shoulder rolls to the back, thinking about really using our full range of motion. Now 4 to the front. Now using our hands, we're going to apply a little bit of pressure to the back of our head to stretch the back of that neck and the top of our spine. Now switching to the right, we're going to use our right hand to apply a little bit of pressure. Think about using opposition and dropping that right shoulder to the floor. Same thing to the left. You're gonna reach your arms up and out, thinking about dropping your shoulders to lengthen that spine and take a side stretch to the right. Switching to the left. Now we're going to grow tall and take our arms by our ears to lengthen our spine as much as possible before taking a forward flat back position. Here we are prepping our hamstrings to be stretched and are finding length in our body. Reaching your fingertips as far as you can, open your arms to the side while still maintaining that flat back position. Now release to a forward fold stretch while maintaining the length we just found in that flat back to get a nice deep stretch in these hamstrings. Here I like to have my feet in a position that's a little wider than my hips. However, feel free to take your feet even wider for a more comfortable position. Now we're going to move our hips side to side while keeping our legs straight to continue to warm up these hamstrings. Returning to the middle, we're going to grab our elbows and swing side to side. Really let your head and upper body be heavy here. Dropping our hands back down center, we're going to slowly walk our hands through our legs to reach as far to the back wall as we can. Here we are going to take an 8 count plie while still reaching our hands through our legs before then lengthening the backs of our knees to straighten our legs and think about pulling our head as far through our legs as we can. Now we are going to release and bend our knees and take a slow roll up through our spine. Step together and lengthen your arms towards the ceiling before finding another flat back position like we did before, this time with your feet together. Here we are thinking about lengthening through the top of our head while reaching our tailbone in the opposite direction to find a nice flat position. Now lengthening over to our standing pike stretch. To increase this stretch, bend your right knee while trying to touch your nose to your left knee. Switch sides. Here we're going to find a little bit of our balance and we're going to grab our ankles and pull our face as far as we can in between our knees. As a variation, lace your fingertips behind your lower back and stretch them all the way up and over towards the front of the room to stretch the inner part of our shoulders. Wherever your arms are, you're going to release them to the floor in front of you and then lengthen to look forward before walking our hands and feet out to a plank position. You can stay here, or as a variation, you can practice lifting one arm or leg up at a time, or even lifting one arm and the opposite leg up at the same time. Walking your hands in and lowering your heels, we're going to push against the floor into a downward dog position. Think about expanding your chest and lengthening your heels to the floor to stretch all behind the legs. You're going to walk your hands back towards your feet and toe heel your feet out to a wide, turned out position. Here we are going to take 4 8-count grand pliés. Think about keeping your knees over your toes while dropping your tailbone all the way down to the floor. On our last plie, we're going to stay at the bottom and use our glutes to squeeze and lift our hands off the floor. Here we're trying to open our hips while still finding strength. To make this more challenging, lift your heels off the floor and balance on the balls of your feet. Slowly drop your heels and drop your hands to your knees before twisting to the right. Really use opposition here to push that left knee back to open these hips even more. Switch to the other side. Here you're going to release to drop your hands to the floor to rotate your feet and legs in before transitioning to a standing stretch over your right leg. Here you want your feet to be completely parallel before lengthening your spine to drop all the way over that front leg as far as you can. Now we're going to transfer our weight to our front leg by pointing our back foot. You're going to hold this last one and get your weight transferred all the way on that right leg to sink your head towards your right foot. Release back and you can either stay here or reach that right arm up towards the ceiling to find a spinal twist. Release, and from here we are going to drop down into our runner's lunge. Remember here to keep your knees in line over your toes. One lunge variation here is to pick your hands up and put them on your knee while still lengthening out through that back knee. A challenging lunge variation is to slide that front foot out, walk those hands close to your hips, and sink down into an oversplit stretch. Wherever you are, return to neutral to release that back knee down to the floor and drop your elbows down to the floor next to your right foot. Here, think about releasing the back of your neck to drop your head down to sink even deeper into that right hamstring. Coming back up, we're going to bend our back leg in to grab our left foot with our right hand. Stretching our quad here, we want to think about pulling that foot in while still sinking those hips forward. If you need to increase this stretch, drop your right elbow to the floor to deepen the stretch in your quad. Release your back foot to push back to a reverse lunge position, keeping your hips squared before dropping your hands to the floor and stretching over the front leg. Only stretch over as far as you can while keeping that front knee nice and straight. Here you're going to flex your front foot and flatten your back before stretching all the way back over one more time on that front leg. From here, we're going to point our foot and slide into our best split. If you're still working on your splits, hold yourself up with 2 straight legs and work on slowly sinking into that split. A split variation here is to stretch over that front leg with squared hips. My advanced splitters, you can use this time to grab a couple of blocks and work on your over splits. It's important to still keep these hips squared while stretching these oversplits, so that way we're stretching them correctly. From your splits, you're going to pull yourself up to standing and put your weight on your right foot to point that left foot and lift it up to the sky as high as you can. As a variation here, you can grab your right ankle with your left hand to pull your nose into your shin. As another variation, you can bend your back leg and grab your left foot with your right hand and arch your back to deepen this stretch. Whatever variation you are in, release and return to our neutral standing stretch position before bending our knees and taking a slow roll up through the spine to come to standing. Pivot your feet to the other side to repeat everything on the left leg. Don't forget your lunge variations here. Releasing our knees and elbows down to the ground. Bend your back knee to grab your right foot with your left hand for our quad stretch. Push back to a reverse lunge with square hips while keeping the front knee straight. Sliding into whichever split variation you need. Pulling up to our needle stretch, doing whichever variation you need. Release to find your way back to your standing neutral stretch to turn your hips and feet in before walking our feet together to touch. Bend your knees and sit all the way to the floor before opening your knees for our butterfly stretch. Reach your arms up by your ears and flat back over as far as you can before rounding your back at the bottom and holding this butterfly stretch. Try to relax the back of your neck here, and if you need to increase this stretch, apply a little bit of pressure to your knees with your hands. Release and come up to a seated pike position to shake our legs out for a moment before rotating our body to the side wall. Reach your arms up by your ears, and we're going to take 8 counts to lower to the floor using our abdominal muscles. From here, you're going to place your right foot on your left knee and bend your left leg into you. Take your right hand and grab your left shin through the hole you've created with your legs. Here we are stretching our glute muscles, so think about lengthening your spine while pushing that right knee away from your body to get the maximum stretch. To increase this stretch, extend the left leg and grab your ankle to try to pull it into your body while still sending that right knee the opposite direction. Release wherever you're holding in this stretch and grab your right knee to pull it into your chest. Here we're going to take a few ankle circles to practice pointing our feet and warming up these ankles. Now we're going to extend our right leg to a straight leg while keeping our hips square. Only extend as high as you can while keeping that knee straight and those hips square, so that way we aren't cheating ourselves and are getting a nice deep hamstring stretch. From here, you get to lift and open your hip to pull that right leg as close to your right ear as you can. Make sure you aren't twisting your body towards your leg, but instead are bringing the leg to you. Release your right leg and control it all the way down to join your other foot. Put your left foot on your right knee to bend that right leg into you, to then take your left hand through the hole you've created to grab your right shin. Extend your right leg here if you'd like. Release down and pull your left knee into your chest to do our ankle circles. Think about really articulating through the foot here. Extend your left leg, keeping the knee straight and the hips square. Open your leg to the side to lift your hip, to pull your leg in as close to your ear as you can. Release and control the leg down to a neutral position on your back. Here you're going to curve, starting with the top of your head, to use our abdominal muscles to come to a seated position. Make your way into your straddle position, opening your legs as wide as you can. For a challenge here, we're going to tighten our muscles and use our glutes, core, groin, and leg muscles to pull ourselves as high as we can off the floor to try and hold. Release down and slowly walk your hands out in front of you for our lying straddle stretch. Keep your legs engaged here by flexing your feet and trying to rotate them towards the wall behind you. Don't forget to release the back of your neck here to use the weight of that head to stretch into this even deeper. From here, we're going to transfer up and over into our middle split. Remember to hold yourself up as high as you need here, so that way you're stretching that groin slowly and easing it into a middle split. Roll through your middle split to end on your stomach, to then roll onto your back. From here, bend your knees into your chest and try to grab your feet or any part of your leg to open your legs into a big, wide straddle. If you're still working towards this pose, open your legs as wide as they'll go and use your arms as support to hold your legs up, so that way you're still getting a stretch in your groin. Here I like to take a little flex and point with my feet, just so I'm still engaging my muscles while they are stretching. Use your arms to help bring your legs together to a pike position. Shake your legs out a little bit and then extend your arms and legs to lay flat on the floor. Next, we're going to roll onto our stomach and lift our head and shoulders and arms off of the ground. We're going to open our arms to the side and pulse up to engage our lats and our traps. Release and place your arms back on the floor in front of you to slowly start easing your hands into our cobra stretch, stretching each vertebrae one at a time. Focus on rolling your shoulders down and back to really hit each vertebrae one at a time. Walk your hands in a little more. And again. And one more time. Now place your hands next to those hip bones to push into your highest cobra stretch and release that head to look towards the back wall. To increase this stretch, go on the balls of your feet and straighten your legs to sink even deeper into that lower spine. Release back into a child's pose and think about reaching your fingertips on the floor. You're going to slowly return through your cobra pose to walk your hands out in front of you to slowly roll back onto your back. Here in Shavasana, release any tension in your body and let your body relax completely. Use this time to set an intention for your day, reflect on your day you've already had, or even clear your thoughts completely. Stay focused on your breath and releasing any tension from your body. Slowly open your eyes and make your way to a seated position.